Okay, I'm not even going to introduce it. Rowan.
Hi. You have to bear with me because I'm not very good at these and I'm nervous as anything, so... and I'm going to read it. I would like to start with a massive thank you to everyone that has travelled far and wide to be here with us tonight to celebrate with Mum and Dad. I would like to thank everyone that has helped me make this happen. Some of you have told a few more porkies than others, especially Sharon and Andy. So thank you very much for everyone for any size little porkies you've told to keep this surprise. Mum and Dad, I guess there were a few more people that knew about it than you thought this week. The surprises started a week ago with the arrival of Cam, Val and baby Peter arriving and me turning up at Mum and Dad's place after telling them a few more little porkies, dropping Cam and Val and Peter round the corner to make sure Mum and Dad were inside so that Peter could peer his head around the corner of the door to surprise them. And this he did. This was one of Mum and Dad's highlights and often talked about of their recent stay in North Carolina, where Peter would come to them every morning for cuddles in bed, and he would peer around the door at them, and this has continued this week in the caravan in Rotorua as well, and at home. After this surprise, Dad asked several times if this was the last surprise for the week, which I said yes, because that was last week. Although there was a bit more hiding required by family in Rotorua this week, peering out the caravan as they emptied their dump station where Gill, Pam, Jeff and Richard were staying. So uploads of photos came to me of them peering out the caravan windows. And finally, last night, Mum and Dad were once again surprised by what was just a small potluck dinner blamed on my children for not knowing what time they'd finished work, that we couldn't go out. And a minibus arrived, beeping its horn, and they continued to sit there going, oh, that's Lee over the road. No, it wasn't Lee when we all stood up. And the surprise on Mum and Dad's face when Sandra, Gino, Jordan, Maddie, Connor, Oakley, Danny, Tori, Alana, Josh, Oscar and Scarlett all arrived. And what a fabulous night we all had. Surely that had to be the end of the surprises. Continue to tonight. Here we are telling Mum and Dad we're going out to dinner with a few friends and family, and here you all are. Once, I'm going to reiterate what Cam said. Dad had, a few years ago, tried to sort a big party for his birthday, as he just wanted to get everyone together for a party. Well, here you go, Dad and Mum. Your family and your friends have travelled far and wide to make this happen and have managed to keep it quiet for a very, very long time to surprise you. This certainly has been a long time coming, and I can breathe again after this. So, a few things about Mum and Dad that stand out to me are their love for family and friends and travel across New Zealand and the world, and their love for spending time with family and friends. Over the years, we've enjoyed plenty of family holidays, get-togethers, and this has certainly continued once Roger and I had our family. A few of the memories over the years have been camping in Greytown, plenty of school holidays spent on the farm in Hunterville, which I can say my love for farm life started there, and I don't think I'd be where I am today if it hadn't have been for that. Our South Island holidays with the caves and plenty of others. Caravanning and overseas holidays, rallying weekends away with Dad, and in more recent years, holidays and four-wheel drive trips with the family. One memory once we had kids was when Mum once Roger and I had kids, was when Mum and Dad were living in Australia. Mum rang up, told me not to say anything and just listen. I'm not very good at that. She proceeded to say that she wanted Roger and myself to put Jake and Tim on the plane for them in 2 days' time, and they would travel with them and Connor across the Simpson Desert for 3 and a bit weeks. I thought this was the craziest idea, and after getting off the phone, I wasn't even going to bother telling Roger. I did tell Roger. We asked the boys if they wanted to go. The boys were at the time about 6 and 7, I think, if that. And guess what? 2 days later, they were on a plane, and that trip is still well talked about today. Another great memory is the trip that Mum, Zoe and I made this year to the USA to meet baby Peter, and all the special times that we had on our travels that day, both in that holiday in Hawaii and LA and at Cairns. Over the years, I know that many of you in this room tonight, like myself and my family, have enjoyed sharing Mum and Dad's love for caravanning and travel with them, and hopefully there's plenty more to come. Thanks, Mum and Dad, for everything you do for me and for my family. We love you both. That's right, get in there. I would like us all to raise our glasses to Mum and Dad. Congratulations, 50 years.
Yes.
And on that note, I would also like to acknowledge something else. Cam and Val and baby Peter have travelled from North Carolina to be here to surprise Mum and Dad. As many of you will know, Cam and Val were due to get married prior to COVID pandemic, and a small group of us had planned to travel to their holiday wedding destination, Bahamas. Unfortunately, COVID had other ideas, and about 2 weeks before we were due to fly, we had to cancel. The wedding was postponed and replanned for 12 months later. Mum and Dad were very fortunate to be able to fly to the wedding with Val's clever ideas of how to get a vaccination. And the rest of us, plenty of us here, watched via internet, and I'm very grateful for my family that made it, and Kylie and Andy who travelled up so we could celebrate that day. So on that account, I would also like you to raise your glasses again, and I'd like to propose a toast to Cam and Val. Congratulations on your wedding. As we didn't get to celebrate it with you in person at the time, to Cam and Val. Cam and Val. Thank you.
So I'm speaking on behalf of myself and Danny, so I'm just going to kick into it. In my teens, I got a job in Upper Hutt, and Mum and Dad lived a really long way from town, and so every second weekend I stayed with Gill and Peter so that I could go to work. And Peter and Gill got their first taste of parenting a teen while I was there with them, me begging them to take me to work at 6 o'clock in the morning when it was raining because I didn't want to ride my bike. And then a couple of years after that, my dad died, and Pete and Gill upped their support of Mum and Danny and I. I bounced cheques all over town when I got my first job. I had no idea how to manage a chequebook. People in this room don't even know what that looks like. But anyway, I well and truly overdrew my account, and I had to go and work with Pete to learn how to manage my budget and manage my accounts. And at one stage, I did tell him that I'd go to the whorehouse next door if I needed to earn myself a bit of extra cash.
You'll see that I've come with no notes. That's because when Rowan emailed me and said, could I say a few words, I said no. And it wasn't until Cam announced my name that I realised I was even coming up here.
Your wife responded to me first.
Yeah, but I...
Daryl was me.
And then followed it on by no. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Daryl. I'm Jill's younger, far better looking brother. In fact, I'm her favourite brother. By virtue of being the only one. And so consequently I've known Gill all of my life. And I can't believe that it's actually 50 years since she got hooked up with Pete. I don't know how you put up with him for that period of time. I know, yeah. So this is going to be a really, really short one, and it certainly won't be, I won't be bringing any tears to anybody, I can assure you of that. A couple of things to remember is that most marriages in New Zealand only last 13.6 years, according to Google, which kind of, it's pretty impressive when you get to 50. People make it to 60 years. So, you've got a wee way to go yet. But Gill and Pete, I have often looked at Gill and Pete and sort of thought they were almost like the perfect parents. Gill's like the mother to everybody, including her brothers and sisters.
The mic. I'm little. Right, and the glasses. All right, so when you're asked, okay, so I'm Pam, little sister to Peter. For those of you who don't know me, I can't see you through my glasses, so we could have a bit of this over this. When you're asked to say a few words, it's like, where do I start? So I thought, okay, I'm going to start at the very beginning, like the song says. Peter Vincent was born on the 29th of January 1951, third child to Julie and Jim Hosey, and on the 7th of August 1952, Gillian Leslie was born to May and Stan Rain. Both families eventually had 3 girls and 1 boy, and they were the third child in each one. When Peter was a baby, Mum and Dad had an ice cream factory, and you all know, or most of you will know, that Peter's got a great love of ice cream. While Julie and Gill got the ice cream cones full of ice cream, Peter only got a cone, so he's been making up for it ever since, having ice cream wherever he goes. Growing up, Peter seemed to always look out for me. Excuse me, I'm kind of nervous. We would get sixpence for washing our bikes. Peter would wash mine and give me the sixpence. When I started college, we lived in Hiratonga, and it was quite some kilometres to our school. Peter used to bike with me to college, and he went to Upper Hutt and I went to Hiratonga. Home in the afternoon, and he would ride back to Hiratonga with me. He was always looking out for me. Not a lot of boys would do that for their little sister. After I started work, Peter was one of these people that gathered cars. Mum called them wrecks. And she actually said to him one day in 1968, when Dad was at university in the US, she said, "You've got to get rid of these." But when I started work, Peter loaned me one of these cars to use, and it had doors that opened backwards. I don't know what it was now. It was a little green and yellow thing. It was old. It was very old. Even then, it was very old. One day I was driving to work, and the next minute I was sitting in the car driving it, and I saw this wheel go past me onto the road. And I thought, oh, somebody's lost a wheel. Next minute,
Look, I mean, a lot of what we've talked about here has been family, but I do want to also acknowledge like the friends and so forth that are here that have also become like family. I apologise for those that I'll miss, but obviously, the Gibbses, Gillian and Nick, as I look around the Lumsdens, extended rays and so forth, like thank you all so much for being here as well. Mum, I said I'd have the last word, but as I reflect on this, it seems more fair that I actually give you the last word. No, but you're not speaking yet, so come back. With my vast experience of 2 years of marriage, roughly speaking, it seems to me that the key ingredients of a marriage are unconditional support, unconditional love, and an unconditional sense of adventure and a willingness just to do it. And I can't imagine a couple that embodies it more than my parents, and it's it's an inspiration to me, genuinely. It's something which I always wondered if I'd ever be able to live up to, and I really hope that I can. So thank you for that, for being that role model. And I think you can hear that in the comments that everyone's making around the room at the moment as to like how much of a beacon that's been for a lot of people. So thank you for that. So I don't want to belabor this at all. Thank you for the love. Thanks for the love that you have for all of your grandchildren and probably the imminent great-grandchildren, Tim. Yeah, sorry. Thank you for the unconditional platform that you've given Rowan and myself, Sandra and Danny. The fact that you'll be there no matter what, even when times are really, really shit. That's absolutely part of it. And thank you so much for that.
This is completely unprepared, so just be aware. But first of all, before I start, I want to really acknowledge the fact that so many of you are here, and we really do appreciate it. I look around the room, and every person, my mind is full of memories, and that is just so special. Well, I'm grateful that Pete and I are here today, and for that to be, for us to be able to share in this way. So thank you. Eh? We're not at a funeral, okay? Not at a funeral. Yeah. Let me tell you that Pete for years has said that when he dies, he wants his eyes to be put on the wall. And the reason his eyes need to be there, because there were lots of great girls, okay? He wants his eyes put there. I can do whatever I like with his ashes. And so that I can have a family holiday with my kids and now their partners, because he's lived that long, and we can go and move Dad on.